After almost being hunted to extinction during the whaling years of the 18 and 1900s, scientists now believe that the Antarctic blue whale population is finally recovering and is potentially stabilizing. Welcome back to Tea of the Sea, and all of you know at this point that blue whales are the largest animal to have ever existed on this planet that we are aware of. Globally, there are several subspecies of blue whales, and the largest of them is the Antarctic species, which are the individuals capable of getting up to around 100 feet in length and almost 200 tons in weight. Migrating from breeding locations around South America, Africa, and Australia, and even across the equator, this species migrates down into the Southern Ocean surrounding Antarctica during the summer months to feed on the vast amounts of krill that spawn each year. And during the whaling years of the 18 and 1900s, this amazing population was hunted to near total extinction. Estimates suggest that the species only numbered a few hundred individuals by the end of the 1950s. Because of the huge expanse of the Southern Ocean and the incredibly low numbers, finding Antarctic blue whales was a near impossibility, all the way up until the turn of the century. And while since whaling ended, it's been generally assumed that the Antarctic population has been slowly recovering, new research over the last decade and a half it basically confirms that with audio sounds. Blue whales are the loudest animal on the planet. In the right ocean conditions, some studies suggest that these whales can hear each other over 1,000 miles away. They do this by utilizing incredibly low frequency calls, frequencies that we can't hear without the aid of audio equipment. And after listening to thousands of recordings stretching 2 decades, researchers are beginning to see that the population is recovering, if not stabilizing. Researchers from the Australian Antarctic Division have been trying for the last 2 decades, since 2006, to track these animals using their calls. Specifically, they're listening for 20-second long call patterns known as Z calls, as well as higher pitched calls known as D calls, which the researchers think are the whales saying, "Here I am." Which unfortunately makes sense, since the species was in such few numbers after the whaling years ended. It was even more important for them to say, "I'm over here, here I am." Between the years of 2006 and 2021, the researchers have been more frequently hearing the calls of these blue whales, which either means that the whales are increasing in numbers, or the researchers, as they travel around the Southern Ocean, are finding the whales more frequently, and both of those things are good. Obviously, if the whales' numbers are increasing, that's a great thing. It means they're less and less likely to go extinct, especially in the modern day where we are experiencing significant climate change. And if the researchers are just finding the whales more often, that's also a good thing, because that means we can track them better, figure out where they're going, so we can better understand how they're surviving. Having more audio recordings of the Antarctic blue whales in and of itself is great, but it's not a whole lot of information in the grand scheme of things. Especially since this is the first set of good information regarding these animals that we have since potentially the 1950s. Not a lot of studying has been done on this species. For the most part, we've just been assuming that the population has been, at the very minimum, recovering since the whaling years. But the fact that we're hearing the whales more often, as I said earlier, overall is a fantastic thing to know. So while more research needs to be done, it is great that we are hearing more of these amazing Antarctic animals.